Hi, this is Dolores Mortimer from the House of Mercy and Encouragement, bringing you Coffee with the Counselor. A good cup of coffee is good anytime, in the morning, afternoon, or evening. And I'm bringing you Coffee with the Counselor here in your home because usually we have it once every other month, and we usually have it at Our Lady of Lourdes Church. And of course, we are under restriction now, no more than 10 people together. Usually our Coffee with the Counselor draws about anywhere from 25 to 75 people. So we wanted to make sure that everyone was safe, but still had an opportunity to have a good cup of coffee and also to hear some suggestions on how to alleviate stress during this time of the COVID-19. So what I wanted to show you is that when it comes to stress, there's a mind-body-spirit connection, and we need to nurture each one of those components of ourselves. Now, I'll talk first about the body. And what we need to do is make sure that we drink plenty of water, that we continue with nutrient-rich foods, and there are actually superfoods that you can eat to help alleviate stress or depression. And there's a website called teresaborchard.com, and she's a mental health writer and activist, and she talks about 10 superfoods that she learned from Dr. Joel Fuhrman. And some of those superfoods are green leafy vegetables, avocados, walnuts, any kind of berries, mushrooms, onions, tomatoes, beans, seeds, and apples. So you might want to think about having some of those while you're closed in. Moderate exercise is fabulous. Even during the COVID-19 crisis, it is good to go out and go for a nice long walk. You're out in the fresh air, you're getting some vitamin D, and you're enjoying some green space, which is very important in calming our minds. Also, it's important not to lose your sense of humor. It's so important to remember to laugh, and especially to laugh at ourselves. If you're on medication, remember to take medication and avoid any toxic things like smoking or excessive alcohol. So those are some of the things that we can do in order to nurture our body. And the two that I'm really particularly interested in, once we have, all of the important components in place for our body, is our mind and spirit. And so I'll talk a little bit about the mind first. And what I would like to say is that a lot of times in counseling we use cognitive therapy. And cognitive therapy is a way of thinking and reframing our thoughts and our experience to make them more tolerable. So I will give you an example. So when I talk about reframing, what I'd like to point out is that we interpret things in our brain by the way we perceive it. So we may see the same thing, but we may interpret it differently. Some people look at this and they see a candlestick. Other people look at this picture and they see the profile of two people talking with each other. So it's the same picture, but our brains are interpreting it differently. Another example is of the rabbit. So some people look at this and they definitely see a rabbit, and other people look at this and say, no, I don't see a rabbit, I see a duck. Or in some cases, some people say, I see a platypus. So it's not the picture, it's how our brains are interpreting it. And so when we talk about cognitive therapy, we're talking about the situation, a thought about that situation, an emotion, and a behavior. So take, for example, the situation of COVID-19. It is a very stressful situation for many of us. And we can all be in that same situation, and some of us may say, this is the worst thing that has ever happened to me. I can't stand it. I am just falling apart here. And their emotion will be stress, maybe anxiety, depression, and our behavior is, well, some of us may have less energy, we may not be as productive as we normally are, even around our house, and there's a lot of things that we don't accomplish because of the way we're thinking. Now, we could look at the COVID-19 as, yes, this is a very stressful situation. However, my thinking on this is I'm going to make the best of this that I can. I'm going to, hey, clean that closet that I haven't had a chance to clean before. That's going to feel really good. And I'm going to think about contacting people that I haven't been able to contact in a long time because I've been so busy working and running around and doing all kinds of things. I'm going to spend more time with my family. And then when we think in those terms, our emotions begin to relax and we feel much better. And so what is our behavior? We're not depressed. We're going to have more energy. We're going to get things done, and we're going to be very goal-oriented. So a lot of times it's not the situation, it's our thoughts about the situation that leads to the emotions, that leads to the behaviors. So there are some standard statements that we can say to ourselves that will help us to tolerate difficult feelings and feelings of stress. We can say something to ourselves like, I can't change what is happening, but I can make the best of it. Or we can say, I can get through this, I can cope, I'm strong and capable, I am grateful for so many things, I can accept the situation the way it is, it's okay to feel this way, a lot of people feel this way and I'm not alone, and I can deal with this problem, I can cope, I can manage. There are other things that we can do besides changing our thought processes and reframing things. We can socialize by going on FaceTime. We can Zoom. We can have a Zoom meeting with our friends. We can read a book that we hadn't had a chance to read before. We can color, we can paint, we can put puzzles together. There's a wide variety of things that we can do in order to help us relax. We can spend time with a pet that we have. If we have a dog or a cat, we can spend some time with them. There's so many things that we can do, and you can probably think of some things yourself. But all of these things help us into our mind to navigate this difficult situation. The next area that we need to nurture is our spirit. And so we need to put time aside for prayer, for relaxation, maybe some meditation, visualization, and just general healing. We all need to be healed, and so we can call upon the Holy Spirit and Jesus to help heal us in these days that are so stressful, and we can use prayer to pray for other people. I do have a prayer that I would like to read, and it is a prayer asking for some help from the Holy Spirit, so I'd like to do that now. Come, Holy Spirit, replace the tension within us with a holy relaxation. Replace the turbulence within us with a sacred calm. Replace the anxiety within us with a quiet confidence. Replace the fear within us with a strong faith. Replace the bitterness within us with a sweetness of grace, and replace the darkness within us with a gentle light. Replace the coldness within us with a loving warmth. Replace the night within us with your light. Straighten our crookedness, fill our emptiness, dull the edge of our pride, sharpen the edge of our humility, light the fires of our love, quench the flames of our lust. Let us see ourselves as you see us, that we may see you as you have promised, and be fortunate according to your word. Blessed are the pure of heart, for they shall see God. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed Coffee with the Counselor.